Hello, and welcome back to the Obsidian Mirror, where we pause a moment to reflect. We are going to do a shadow integration read, so be gentle with yourself in this process. Now might be a good time to check in with your body if it feels safe to do so. That could look like stretching or doing some jumping jacks. Grabbing a beverage or a snack or a comfort item. Maybe something to do with your hands. It might also be a good time to gently tug on your earlobes and activate the parasympathetic branch of the nervous system. Hit the rest and digest button and slow down a little bit. Whatever you need to do for yourself at this time. And I want to say that I'm grateful to be here today. And thank you for joining me. I also feel like mentioning that the spreads on this channel were developed with this channel in mind. So the spreads here are ones that I invented. And it's a little bit nerve-wracking to share this on the internet. But I am trying to gather the courage to continue on with something that I believe in. That being said, if you feel called to like, comment, subscribe, or share, that will give me some useful feedback. And help me refine my process. Feel free to take what is useful and ignore the rest. Okay. I got out of the garden a little while ago. So this right here, trust me, looks worse than it is. I didn't really notice until there was some blood on the weeding knife. So it's not painful, in case anybody is wondering. And please ignore the background noise. I am on a farm currently. I'm going to get one more card from the tarot, and then we will get into it. I hope your quality of time is good, or at least getting better. Day, night, week, what have you. Before I get into the interpretation, I'm going to open with a few deep breaths, and you are more than welcome to join me, starting now. Right off the bat, I'm getting a sense of not having all the information about something, of unseen forces or factors, and a feeling of alienation. But we're going to go card by card, and explore this a little bit deeper. Starting with justice, or bureaucracy in the Shadow Seer Tarot. And I think that justice is a mighty fine ideal, but is not always easy to practice, particularly when there are large groups of people involved. Everybody has their own intention and motivation and life experience. And so any organization that has a lot of people is going to have some challenges when it comes to synthesizing or systematizing any mission statement, any ideal. So justice can be drawn out, it can be stymied or restricted or become a sort of circus. I have known a number of people who feel like they did not get justice through the justice system. People who've been through some downright tragic times, and by the end of it all felt like let down by the justice system. Yeah, it can be really hard to navigate an experience when there's so many people involved, so much paperwork, so much process. And it can also prolong an already difficult experience into something that is it's just too much, and also not enough at the same time, if that makes sense. I'm going to move on to the Five of Pentacles, and this is literally being left out in the cold, not having enough, the feeling of having nowhere to lean, or the place where we can lean, or the people that we can lean on are unable to help us in the ways that we need at that moment. Which in this spread reinforces the bureaucracy aspect. Maybe trying to find help or resources and then being turned away when it seems like the person or the place we went to for help has the ability to do something, and for whatever reason is not doing that, is not able or willing to meet our needs. And that can be a tragedy in its own right. Yeah, quite isolating. I'm getting this feeling of like devastation, desolation, and defeat. I'm going to move on to the next card, which is the Kiss, nearly in reverse. And I'm going to reach for the book because I have my own set of interpretations for that. But I am also still getting to know this deck. So thank you for your patience while I flip to the proper page. And we have intimacy is multi-layered and requires our reflection. Revisit what you consider to be sensual, taboo, acceptable, and shameful. When light, sensual, expressiveness, merging, inviting. When dark, neediness, pressure, dominance, respect. Disrespect, whoops. Right now I'm getting a sense of further alienation, of the potential for connection that is misaligned or missed in some way. Kind of like two birds could fly together, two birds of a feather could fly together, but are on different trajectories for some reason. This could also be an acute desire for connection, something that is experienced as missing from the self, missing from daily life, something that we desperately want and don't have at this time. And it doesn't necessarily need to be sexual in nature. I'm really thinking about just human-to-human connection and a lack of warmth between people, or a lack of feeling seen, heard, validated, and handled in a way that we need in the moment. Perhaps there is also a feeling of fragility involved here, of being at one's breaking point and hoping against hope and evidence that something is going to change, that we will be able to connect, to be seen, to be heard, to be able to be held, in some way, intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, something like this. I'm going to move on to the next card, and we have the Moon in reverse. And this gives me the sense of there being many phases of life, many seasons, and a disconnect from intuition. Perhaps a necessary turning away or emotional blunting. A phase of life where we are not necessarily able to hold another person's light, much like the moon reflects the light of the sun. This makes me think of being in survival mode, of not being able to handle certain flavors of experience because it's just too hard at the moment. This makes me think of being defensive or self-protective, protecting oneself from perhaps the realities of a certain situation or the realities of our emotional landscape, or ignoring our intuition because that connection feels more threatening right now, dangerous maybe. If I were to synthesize this spread, the first thing that comes to mind is this is a really rough time. And I don't mean to say that in a way that is minimizing, because an experience like this is really one of the hardest ones, in my opinion. And I do have a little bit of experience with states like this. I think that it's worth considering that maybe being unable to connect with others or the self right now is okay. It's okay. We don't necessarily always have the capacity to be fully present. We don't necessarily have the ability to handle the experiences or emotions of the people around us. Sometimes it takes all of our effort just to hold ourselves together to stay standing. And that's okay. This is not forever. It's just for right now. Everything in life is temporary. The only constant is change. And so when it comes to being in a emotionally blunted or numb state, perhaps feeling isolated and maybe even betrayed, that it is perfectly understandable and relatable to focus on the self in the best ways that we can right now. Whatever that looks like, it could be reestablishing a basic hygiene routine. It could be doing one load of laundry and not even folding it when it's clean. It can look like spending more time to ourselves. It can look like sleeping a little bit more if we need to, because our body is a very good early detection system, in my opinion. That being said, it may be difficult or impossible to ignore the bureaucracy or processes of it all, but maybe to try to have pockets of time where we are not so influenced or overtaken by it. Maybe 10 minutes a day where we can just ignore. Just 10 minutes. And when it comes to feeling let down and isolated, to just know that it won't last forever. There will be a time of deeper, more heartfelt connection. Hopefully soon. And that maybe we don't pressure ourselves to be at full capacity right now. We don't have to be fully lit up all the time. It's okay to go through phases. It's okay to go dark, as long as we don't put any unnecessary concern on the people in our lives. If we feel the need to stop thinking and act more according to a self-preservation instinct for the time being, that's okay. That's all I've got right now. And you know what? That's more than enough. It's okay for me to end here. So I'm going to do that with a deep breath, and you are more than welcome to join me, starting now. Maybe I'll see you again on the obsidian mirror.